She held the photograph with both hands as if pressure alone could bring it back to life, but memories don't resurrect through grip. They soften through release. And still, we hold on to lovers who became strangers, to versions of ourselves that no longer exist, to futures that were only ever fantasies dressed up as plans. We hold on because letting go feels like losing twice. Once when it ended, and again when we finally admit it's gone. The brain does something cruel when we invest in something. It weaves that thing into our identity. Neural pathways form like roots around the person, the dream, the belief, until separating feels like tearing flesh. This is why breakups hurt in the body, why career changes feel like small deaths, why moving cities leaves us hollow for months. We're not just losing something external, we're losing the story we told ourselves about who we are. Psychologists call it the sunk cost fallacy, but that phrase is too clean, too clinical for what actually happens. You stay because you've already stayed. You invest more because you've already invested. You tell yourself that pain is proof of love, that suffering means you care enough. But there's a difference between honoring what was and being held hostage by it. One is remembrance, the other is imprisonment. Think about how you hold water in your hands, cup palms trembling. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it escapes. But if you relax, if you let your hands become a vessel rather than a cage, it rests there, gentle, temporary, willing to stay until it's time to go. That's the paradox of attachment. The moment you stop clinging is the moment you stop suffering. Your nervous system knows this before your mind does. That knot in your stomach, that tightness in your chest, that exhaustion that has no medical explanation. These are your body's way of saying you're carrying something that's too heavy. The trauma therapist Bessel van der Kolk found that the body keeps the score, that unresolved attachment lives in our muscles, our breath, our automatic responses. We think letting go is a decision, but it's also a sensation. It's the exhale after holding your breath for months. It's the softening of shoulders that have been braced for impact. It's finally putting down the invisible weight you've been carrying so long you forgot it wasn't part of you. Here's what they don't tell you about grief. It's not linear and it's not fair. You can be fine for weeks and then a song, a scent, a random Tuesday will pull you back under and you'll think you failed, that you haven't healed, that you're broken beyond repair. But that's not regression, that's integration. Each time the memory returns, you have the chance to metabolize it differently, to see it with new eyes, to hold it without letting it hold you. The ancient Buddhists understood this. They spoke of non-attachment not as coldness, but as freedom, to love fully without needing to possess, to engage deeply without needing to control. You can care about someone and still release them. You can honor what you built together and still walk away. You can hold gratitude and grief in the same breath. This isn't contradiction, this is wholeness. Science backs this up. Studies on neuroplasticity show that the brain rewires itself through experience. Every time you choose differently, you're creating new neural pathways. You're teaching your mind that safety exists beyond what's familiar, that identity isn't fixed, that you can survive the unraveling and discover something truer on the other side. But the brain resists. It craves patterns, predictability. Even painful predictability feels safer than uncertain peace. So letting go requires repetition. You release in the morning and have to release again by nightfall. You forgive and then have to forgive again when the anger resurfaces. This isn't weakness, this is the work. And maybe that's the secret that nobody wants to hear. Letting go isn't about them, the person who left, the dream that died, the life that didn't happen. It's about you, reclaiming your energy from the past, redirecting it toward what's actually here, the present moment with all its ordinary magic, the future with all its unwritten possibility. You'll know you're healing when the memories lose their charge, when you can tell the story without your voice shaking, when you see their name and feel nothing, not bitterness, not longing, just the quiet neutrality of something that once mattered but doesn't anymore. This doesn't mean it wasn't real. It means you're finally free. There's a Japanese art called kintsugi, where broken pottery is repaired with gold. The cracks aren't hidden, they're highlighted because the breaking and the mending are part of the object's history, part of its beauty. You are the same. The places where you broke and learned to let go, those are your golden seams. The proof that you survived, that you transformed, that you're more than what you lost. So here's what I want you to understand, in your bones, not just your mind. Holding on doesn't preserve what you loved. It preserves the pain of losing it. Letting go doesn't mean it didn't matter. It means you're brave enough to carry the love without carrying the weight. You're allowed to miss something and still not want it back. You're allowed to honor the past and still choose the future. The widow visits the grave less now, not because she loves him less, but because she's learned that love doesn't require presence, that memory can be gentle, that grief can coexist with joy. She's discovering that letting go isn't abandonment, it's evolution. The caterpillar doesn't betray itself by becoming a butterfly, it fulfills itself. And you're not giving up by releasing what no longer serves you. You're not weak for choosing peace over familiar pain. You're not selfish for prioritizing your own becoming over someone else's comfort. You're simply recognizing that clinging is a form of suffering, and you've suffered enough. The space left behind when you finally open your hands, that's not emptiness, that's possibility. That's the blank page where your next chapter begins. That's the clearing where new growth takes root. But you have to let the old forest burn first. You have to trust that what's meant for you won't require force, won't demand self-abandonment, won't ask you to shrink or perform or prove. Letting go is an act of faith, not in them, not in fate, but in yourself. Faith that you can handle the uncertainty, that you're strong enough to rebuild, that the best parts of you aren't tied to what you're releasing, they're woven into who you're becoming. So breathe, soften, unclench. The story isn't over, it's just changing. And you're not the same person who started this journey. You're wiser now, more whole, more free. The grip is loosening. Can you feel it? The weight is shifting, and soon, very soon, you'll realize your hands are empty. And for the first time in a long time, that won't terrify you. It will feel like coming home.